Midwest Theme Park Podcast, presented by Midwest Theme Park Enthusiasts. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Midwest Theme Park Podcast, presented by Midwest Theme Park Enthusiasts. I'm Nick McMahon.
I'm Jack Salisbury.
And today we have Eric Bertch again joining us from Lost Island. We very much appreciate you coming back for season 2 of the Midwest Theme Park Podcast. Tell us about a little bit how things in your first year of operation of the Lost Island theme park went.
My pleasure.
So I think we can probably just jump right into the questions here. How did you guys decide on the naming for some of the attractions at Lost Island?
So one of the things that we spent a lot of time on prior to the construction of the park was developing a backstory and kind of a mythology for the park. And that sort of meta information is what helped inform our decisions on which rides went into which realm, how the architecture was going to look, and what kind of language we would be, or the language that we created to sort of live in the background. It's not something that is a required, homework for people to do in order to visit and enjoy the park, but it is kind of an Easter egg thing that we have developed. So it's present in the companion app as well, and many of the names that are a little harder to pronounce are part of that language, and so they have a meaning. Each of the realms is called the element that they represent in one of many languages that we kind of melded together into our own island dialect. And so drawing on inspiration from Samoan, New Zealander, Indonesian, Southeast Asian, and just general Polynesian dialects, we sort of put together a framework for a language that we use in a variety of areas at the park and hope to do so more in the future. So all of the rides out there are either named after a person or have direct translation into English.
I think it's what really sets Lost Island apart from some of the other theme parks out there is you didn't just come up with a theme and then throw some random names in. You really kept with the theming throughout, as far as down to the names of the rides. So that's really cool to learn a bit about the aspects of why and how that was done. The next question I've got for you, Eric, what's your favorite food item on your menu that you currently offer at the park? And then what can we expect for 2023? Any maybe new or this food item didn't work type of offerings?
I would probably say that my favorite theme-related food that we have is the unique scratch cupcakes that we had made. There is a flight of 6 mini cupcakes that represent each of the realms in the park. They all have different flavors and different designs. It's certainly something that you want to share and probably not eat every day, but it's a unique offering that is the closest we could get to having a Disney pastry chef at our park. As far as some of the other meal options that did really well for us and that I thought were good additions, we have coconut shrimp with mango habanero dipping sauce that was very popular and will continue to serve. There's a black bean burger option with the avocado spread that did pretty well. And then, of course, the chicken tenders and mini corn dogs are always a huge hit. So those will all be coming back next year. We are actually meeting with one of our food providers on February 9th to see what is new and trending. We are leaning towards doing some kind of a pulled pork mac and cheese option, and There was also a discussion about that or doing some kind of a macaroni and cheese pizza uh, because of that popularity. Because of my age, will probably stick to our salads.
All right, that's great.
Well, I guess from the beverage side too, we will continue to have our signature Lost Island Tropical Blonde, which is brewed by Second State Brewing here in Cedar Falls. And those discussions are ongoing too, as to whether we would be bringing in any additional signature beverages once we get a little closer to the season.
Yeah, the cupcakes have been a popular discussion topic on our fan page.
Is that right?
So it seems like they're well received, and I'm glad to hear that they'll be continue to be offered, especially because it's nice to know that you guys are choosing to work with some of the local companies. I know they're made by a local company. That's always nice to see when, one small business helps out another.
Absolutely. It's a great partnership, and they were just as excited to work with us as we were to find something that we could get from them. So
yeah.
Honestly, when I was there, me and my buddy, we asked a couple of different employees what their favorite foods were, and I think all of them said the cupcakes. So they all said that we had to try them. So
they're doing their job and promoting the unique items.
all right, so I think moving on here, what is your favorite ride in the park?
Oh, our Gerslauer Skyfly, the Amara Aviators, is my favorite. It's a unique ride experience, and they're, other than the indoor one, the Ninjago at the Mall of America, there really isn't another one like that around anywhere close. And so it gives you a personalized ride experience, and it's just a fun challenge. See how many times you can flip around.
So, what's the most flips that you've gotten on it?
Well, I didn't have an opportunity to ride it as often as some people did. I think I got when we were testing in the high winds before we opened, I think I got 12 or 13.
So does wind help you get more flips easier?
It does, depending on the direction of the wind. But yeah, it definitely will catch a wing and send you tumbling. There's a TikTok that got posted by an employee who gets going and is turning for the entire ride duration. I didn't count it, but he had over 20. It was quite a few.
When I
That's
was
pretty
at
cool.
IAPA, I talked to, I believe it was a Gerstlauer representative about it, and he said at that time the record was somewhere in the 30s, like
Oh,
31
wow.
or 32. And
It was
I
probably our ride supervisor, Joel.
I was there like what I think third day that you guys were open, and I got 18, and the
Wow.
operator said that that was the most that she had seen so far. So I think maybe for like a couple hours I held the record.
Well, better than not at all.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool. Leading on to the next one, we're gonna ask, can you tell us a little bit about how 2022 went? Just kind of thoughts, what you guys saw, what you guys think you might do a little differently for 2023. I know it's certainly a challenge opening up a brand new theme park, getting it out there, marketing to everybody.
Yeah, we ran into a lot of challenges, Nick and Jack. I think you know that. Just because our opening date was such a moving target, that really deterred a lot of folks from making any plans to visit over the summer. And so our attendance obviously was much lower than we were expecting. And it was just a combination of a lot of factors that had to do with that. So the positive spin for us was, because everything was so new and because we weren't able to open everything on day one, even if we had, and we had people busting down our gates, I think that the reception to the park would have been much worse overall, because people would have had a much higher expectation of what the experience was supposed to be like. And so giving us as operators a few months with some guinea pigs to help us learn how to improve our processes. All of the visitors that we had were very understanding for the most part, that when rides went down, we were trying to get them working as quickly as possible, and it wasn't the full experience. We weren't 100% ready to welcome people. We needed to get the doors open. So going into 2023, we have season passes that are on sale. That was something that we didn't do last year, to allow people to actually take advantage of it the whole summer long instead of having to pay each time. We're changing how parking works, so it's a one-time entry. If you don't have a season pass, you only have to pay the one time if you choose to leave the same day. We also have, in addition to the 2 new rides that everyone's excited, well, not new, they were there teasing everyone, but operating rides, the Utah Falls Flume Ride and Matugani, our launch coaster, will be operational. We also are bringing in some street performers that will be in costumes befitting the realm that they inhabit, and will be available for photos, and we'll be doing a number of bits that they become part of the scenery, in terms of they're just an inhabitant, like you would see at a Disney park or a Universal, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter sort of characters that'll be wandering around to add a little more flavor to the experience. And then we're obviously doing everything we can to polish up the parts of the park that weren't quite ready to go. So landscaping and our queue line and barrier fencing will be 100% done. I know that the landscaping is also a pretty hotly contested discussion topic, and the only thing I can remind people is that trees take a minute to grow, and this whole property was a field 3 years ago. So we want the trees to be 40 feet tall more than anyone else. It's very difficult to move a 40-foot tall tree without a crane. So we put in the biggest ones we have, and also since September have planted over 300 additional saplings throughout the park. So if you can just be patient, in 5 years, we will have 10-foot trees everywhere in the park.
I appreciate you touching on that, because that was something that was brought up quite a bit on the fan page. And I think some people, they don't look realistically at some of these things that we're looking at. You can't expect a tree to grow that quick, but we do appreciate you addressing that, and letting folks know that, hey, the shade is coming. It might take a little bit, but it's coming. I know these Iowa summers get a little hot.
Yeah, and I mean, we did bring in a few trees. It's just that this is an enormous property. You think about a house being on half an acre, and you may have 3 or 4 trees on that property. The park itself is about 48 acres. So think about your yard and multiply it times however much that is to get to 48 acres, and then understand that there's probably 60 to 70 trees out here that are taller than 10 feet, but you have to look to find them just because it's such a massive space. So I also encourage people to take a look at Disneyland, Disney World, Adventureland, Valley Fair, any other major park that was built in a field, and see on opening day how many of those places had 40-foot trees everywhere, because there aren't very many of those parks. places like Dollywood that are built in existing forests are different. We were in a cornfield, so it takes a minute for those amenities to appear.
Okay, so I think our next question was going to be, what should we expect for 2023? I know you kind of touched on some of those subjects, but anything else? And there's another one kind of related to that, new attractions or entertainment for 2023 and beyond. I know you kind of already touched on that a little bit, but is there anything else you want to add in that category of what to expect for 2023?
Sure.
Attractions, entertainment, stuff like that.
So the flume ride and the launch coaster are everybody's favorite talking points. We also have a carousel that I spend very little time talking about because we really have no idea when that's going to arrive, but it will be amazing when it gets here. We're hoping that will be before May for this season as well. Otherwise, that pavilion may just turn into a gathering space. But the street performers, and then the other thing that will make some people happy, I think, is that we're planning on having the park open until 9:30 on Fridays and Saturdays, July, and the first 2 weekends in August. So people will finally be able to see all these light poles in action that we we put in throughout the park and didn't get to use hardly at all.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. As far as the flume and the launch coaster, are you hoping to have those open on opening day, or does it just kind of depend on construction? And I know that the coaster's got to have some cycles ran yet and stuff.
We absolutely are planning to have both operating on opening day. The flume ride has some final electrical work to be done. During when the fire happened, all of that was already in place, and so when that melted, I'm sure you're aware in your lives that lead times on especially electrical components has gone absolutely outrageous, and so we are expecting the last few components for that to arrive sometime in February. So the electrical will be completed by March, and then just like the water park, it's a matter of waiting until it's warm enough to fill the pool. And then, as you mentioned, the launch coaster, we have 1,700 cycles that have to be run yet. We tried to get as many of them in this fall as we could before it got too cold, but we just weren't able to bang out all 3,000 of them before the snow started flying. And so, because it's a hydraulic system, it doesn't like it very much when it's cold out, and so we had to shut down for the winter. But as soon as we have a foreseeable stretch where it isn't going to be freezing anymore, we'll be ramping that back up. And Intamin is already scheduling to be out the first part of April to do the commissioning, and barring some unforeseen tragedy, there's no reason that won't be operating as well.
That's great to hear as a coaster enthusiast.
Yeah, the coaster enthusiasts are definitely going to be looking forward to hear that, and it's something I'm incredibly excited for. So
are we. It's been a long time staring at that track without cars running on it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can kind of touch on the and beyond part of the 2023 and beyond?
I can tell you that we have plans for future attractions. The details on that are really contingent on whether or not we see enough people to cover our operating expenses this year. 2022 was a major operating loss for us, and the park is an amenity for the community and was never meant to be a cash flow investment for the family, but it does have to support itself. And so in order for future attractions to happen, we need to see people interested in visiting us now. If everybody is saying, well, I'll visit when they have another 2 or 3 roller coasters, we don't have an unlimited amount of resources, and so without the visitors to support uh, future expansion, those rides that we have scheduled are unlikely to happen. The park may close as a result. So we don't want people to think that we're throwing in the towel right now, but we need to see some attendance growth before putting out too much information on what the future will hold.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. As somebody who's in business myself, you can't just keep investing into something that doesn't bring forth the return. So, everybody out there listening, make sure you visit the park this year and visit often if you can. I'm sure that it would help in your guys' ability to proceed with future attractions, and I'd love to see the park grow and prosper.
I mean, without being a downer, what I can tell you is that we have our eye on two different coasters that aren't present anywhere in the Midwest. We also are talking about another dark ride experience. The dates and locations of those rides or anything more specific than that, I'm not gonna get into, but I can tell you that we obviously want to be successful and be able to grow the park. It's just that we need to have the visitors in order for that to happen.
Very good. Thank you. So the last, I guess kind of the last question is, overall, we've seen some amazing feedback about the park. One of the highlights is hearing about how the staff is at the park. And even the staff themselves often comment about how much they like working for the park. Can you tell us a little bit why Lost Island is such a great place to work? Why so many people talk about how great the staff is? Maybe this might help you attract some staff for this summer. We'd like to know.
Thanks for the setup, Nick. Yeah, we are hiring right now for 2023, and as far as why I think Lost Island is a great place to work, it's because we work in an industry where you are getting to see people on their vacation every day. I mean, how can you not enjoy seeing the smiles on people's faces when they walk through the gate of a theme park that they've never visited before, and the awe in and wonder in their eyes it's a fun experience to have. And likewise, it's very important for us as the owners and managers of this park to remind the staff of their role in that vacation. And so from the very beginning, when they come into the interview and throughout the season, we make it very clear that you are part of the guest's experience. If it looks like you're having a bad day, they notice that. And so just constantly reinforcing the idea that, look, we want you to have fun at your job. And as long as you're performing the duties that are required to keep people safe, interacting with the guests and going out of your way to make their visit extraordinary is not only going to make you feel good, but it's going to be something that they remember, and that's what they're going to share with their family. It's not going to be, oh, I rode that roller coaster that I've ridden in 5 other states. It's I had the most interesting ride operator give me a safety spiel that I'd never heard before. And those are the things that stick with people, is the human connection. And that's where we really have tried to emulate the experiences that we've had elsewhere, where it is the employees that make your visit memorable.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. One thing I've learned in my experience is that 80% of people will judge how you operate and stuff like that just by how they physically see you. And so when you see somebody that looks happy, they know that they're going to have a great time. So Like I said, we've got a lot of great comments from folks on the fan page, saying that, they really enjoyed their experiences. The employees are happy. We know that the first year was a challenge for you and a learning curve, but it's good to know that the employees stayed engaged throughout the whole time, no matter what. So it was really impressive to see that. So,
well, and if I could plug the recruiting right now, Nick, just a little bit, the employees out here get a free season pass to both the water park and the theme park. We do employee only events for just the staff once a month here at both facilities, and they get free food when they work a 6-hour shift. We give them the opportunity to earn additional tickets that they can share with others. And we also have a pretty generous bonus program if they work the whole summer. So we, in addition to having a really flexible schedule, so we want people to enjoy their time when they're here, because it's their summer vacation too. We just happen to be paying them to be out here.
That's great. How can they apply? On your website or?
Yes, sir. Just go to www.thelostisland.com/jobs.
Okay, cool. Hey, Jack, you got anything else?
Nothing that I can think of. Is there anything else from you, Eric?
We're really excited to invite people back for 2023. And whether you're coming to work as an employee or just coming to visit us, we definitely hope we can elevate your experience from 2022 and make it something that you will remember and come back again.
Great. And like Eric said, everybody, let's go visit the park this year, so that we can see future attractions coming in the next few years. Give them your hard-earned dollar and visit often. So that's really all I have today. We appreciate you coming back for a second round of this. Just kind of update on everybody and let us know what's going on. That's all.
My pleasure, Nick and Jack. Are always available to talk.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to the Midwest Theme Park Podcast, presented by Midwest Theme Park Enthusiasts. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are also now uploading content to TikTok. Please drop us a comment and let us know what you would like to hear on future episodes.